It started out like any other Sunday. Sunshine, lawn chairs, too many chips, and Mark being the loudest, most ridiculous version of himself. He was always the clown, the guy who'd wear mismatched socks to work just to get a laugh. He was our Mark. And that day, when someone joked, "Hey, let's leave Mark behind. See how long it takes him to notice." We all laughed. I laughed the loudest. So we did it. Packed up fast while he was in the porta potty, giggling like kids. Drove off. Just a few miles. We said, "He'll laugh when he sees us waiting at the diner." He always does. Except he did in single quotes. An hour passed. Then too, we went back. His phone went straight to voicemail. His backpack still leaned against the tree. The soda he'd been drinking was half full. Beads of condensation like sweat on its side. I tried to tell myself he was being dramatic, trying to one-up the joke. A part of me even smirked. He's teaching us a lesson. But as the sun dipped low and the crickets started chirping, that smirk faded. My stomach coiled. He never came home. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the door. Every creak made me sit up. At dawn, I called the police, my voice trembling more with shame than fear. Something was wrong, and I had started it. They found his car still parked at the edge of the trail, keys under the seat, a half-eaten sandwich in the glove compartment. No sign of a struggle. No blood. No footprints beyond his own. The officer said gently, "Sometimes people just need time," but his tone meant, sometimes people just leave. The rangers combed the woods. They even brought dogs. I wandered behind them, calling his name until my voice cracked and disappeared. Every tree, every broken twig felt like a clue and a mockery. People began bringing casseroles, leaving sympathy cards, whispering. At first I was angry. He wouldn't just disappear. But then I remembered the week before. His silence at breakfast. The way his laugh didn't quite reach his eyes. That moment at the picnic when he said, quietly, "Sometimes I wonder if I vanished. Would anyone notice right away?" We'd laughed. Of course we'd notice. But we did in single quotes. We joked. And then we left. It hit me like a train. This wasn't a prank gone wrong. It was a final straw. The house was too quiet. Friends stopped asking. Work stopped calling. And I sat on the edge of our bed, trying to remember the last time we really talked. Not just about bills or groceries, but really talked. One evening, I walked past the mirror in the hallway and didn't recognize the woman staring back. Her eyes were hollow, her lips drawn. I stood there for 10 minutes, frozen, wondering when I'd become someone who laughed at the man who loved her, who left him behind like luggage. The worst part wasn't the silence. It was the questions. Maybe he's punishing you. Maybe he's off with someone else. Maybe he was never happy to begin with. I wanted to scream, to defend us, but I couldn't because I didn't know. Had I been living next to a man I'd stopped really seeing? Had I turned his warmth into a joke? I had always thought love meant sharing a life, but maybe it starts with noticing the quiet sighs, the ones he gave when no one was laughing. It was 11:03 p.m. when my phone rang, and no number. I nearly let it go to voicemail, but something in me knew. Hello, silence. Then, it's me. My knees buckled. I dropped to the kitchen floor. "Mark?" His voice, so quiet, like it had to squeeze past a wall of hesitation. "I'm okay. I just needed space." I sobbed so hard I couldn't get words out. I think I said his name 30 times before I could breathe. He wasn't ready to come home. He didn't want the others to know yet, but he wanted to see me. "Just you," he said. "There's a diner off Highway 6, tomorrow, noon." When the call ended, I sat on the floor, heart thudding against my ribs like it wanted out. I wanted to scream, to beg, to apologize 1,000 ways, but all I could do was whisper, "Thank you for calling," and hope he still had something left to say. The diner smelled like grease and burnt toast. I waited in the corner booth, heart pounding with every swing of the door. Then he walked in. Mark, but thinner. His tan was too dark, like he'd been walking for days. His eyes didn't meet mine right away. He slid into the booth slowly, like his body ached. He didn't order food, just coffee. We sat in silence until he finally spoke. "I know it was a joke. I know that. But Lena," it felt like the punchline wasn't just the picnic. It was yours. I opened my mouth to protest, but he held up a hand. "I've been the joke for years. The harmless, goofy guy. The one no one takes seriously. I started to believe it too. Tears welled up, but I forced them down. I had to hear him. That day, he said. When I saw the cars pull away, I felt something snap. Like maybe it really wouldn't matter if I just kept walking. I said, "I'm so sorry." He nodded. "I know. I don't need an apology. I need change, and I don't know if it's possible." He came home the next day. No dramatic return. No hugs in the doorway. Just silence. He unpacked in the bedroom, laid his walking shoes by the door, and then he stood in the backyard staring at the half-dug fire pit he'd started 2 summers ago, the one we always joked about him never finishing. I watched him from the kitchen, saw the way his hands twitched, how he looked older somehow. I didn't go to him. Not yet. I just watched for the first time. I didn't speak to fill the silence. Later that night, I joined him outside, sat beside him on the cold bricks. We didn't talk, but I reached for his hand, and he let me take it. In that silence, I understood something. The man I love had been waving flags for years, quiet ones, and I had mistaken them for background noise. Now I would pay attention. I had to. We started having real conversations, not about dishes or errands, but about him, about how he felt like a supporting character in his own life, about how every time someone laughed at his jokes but never asked how he was doing, something in him shrunk. One night, he said, "Do you know how many people think I'm the happiest guy alive? And how often I'm not?" I cried, because I had believed it too. I'd leaned so hard on his humor, I never checked on the person behind it. I told him he mattered, not because of his jokes, but because of who he is when no one's watching. He nodded, slowly. "Thank you," he whispered, "for listening. Not fixing, not explaining, just listening." Months passed. The fire pit is finished now. Not perfect, but real. We sit by it some nights, wrapped in blankets, saying nothing at all. Our marriage looks the same from the outside. Same house, same routine, but inside, everything's changed. I don't laugh so quickly anymore. I watch more, listen more. When he smiles now, I see the man behind it, not the mask. Sometimes I still ache with guilt. I replay that day at the picnic, the way we drove off, leaving him behind like a forgotten joke. But I carry that ache like a torch, a reminder. Love isn't about grand gestures or big laughs. It's about seeing someone fully, deeply, even when they go quiet, especially then.